Good morning, good morning. It's Monday, June 22nd. It's 2:34 a.m. I'm on my way to the gym right now. I heard, I was listening to this podcast, and I thought this was like the coolest, dopest way a person could think. And he said there's two parts of your mind. There's greatness and there's mediocrity. And depending on which side you lean on the most, it's going to be dependent on who wins out in the argument of, are we going to run 3 miles or are we going to run 30? And this is how he said he would beat his mediocre mind. He would tell his mediocre mind, all right, you know what? We're just going to run 2 miles. Then he says he gets his mediocre mind outside and they get into mile 1. And then he says, yeah, now that the superior mind has tricked the mediocre mind into going out, now the superior mind plans on taking over. When I had accepted this May challenge of running 100 miles and did the math and figured it was 3.3 miles per day that I would have to do for the entire month of May, I felt very broke afterwards. I mean, like it had broke my spirits. Like up to that point, I liked running. And then that just became a job. One that it felt like I had to push through. And, besides I may have ran, we're 20 some days into June the following month. I may have ran 3-4 times seriously, like a 6 mile or 5 mile, then a 15 mile or 14 mile, and pretty good runs, but not as consistent as I normally would. But even though that felt very much like a job, it was rough and it sucked. It taught me something. It taught me that I'm tougher than I thought. One, it taught me that I have the ability, a strong ability, to be consistent. And it taught me that whatever you put your mind to, you really can't accomplish, because when I set out to do it, well, there was nothing to do but to do it. And the reason why I said all that was to come back to the podcast I was listening to, is that sometimes you got to get your mediocre mind up and moving so that your superior brain can kick in and say, yeah, I got you. Now let's go for this 15-mile run. Most people will never challenge themselves past their comfort level. No more than back in the days, people used to think that if you went over 60 miles per hour, you would actually explode. People really believe that. They were like, if you go over 60 miles per hour, your body will explode. Until somebody did it, then it was no thing. But I guess what I had to say is, if you ain't challenging yourself, you ain't living.